All right, okay, let's get started.
And welcome back to week 2, everybody. Hi, my name is Ryan Selvy, and I am your host all this week on Offset, the show that I get to take over while Adobe Live is on vacation. So there's a few other shows going on this week, so I'm not the only one here. But we are here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, twice a day. For 2 hours each, and I'm having different guests on all throughout the week. At the intro, you can see that today we have Yash, which I'm very excited about. We also have Matt coming up a little bit later in the day. After we'll take a little break in between. But it's really exciting to be here. I had such a great time. The last week we did these shows and got a lot of great feedback and response from a lot of people. The team was excited enough to bring me back on to have me do it again. And so we're here again. So we're back better than ever, and we got a bunch of really fun stuff to show off and interview and see how people are doing. I'm excited to share these artists with you guys as well, and you guys just kind of get exposed to their work. And it's really excited to see so many familiar faces in the chat. As always, it's great to see you. It's great to see Jack and Wade. Wade just had an awesome show. You make sure you check his replay. He'll be around all week, actually. Being the nice warm up for Offset. You know, not really actually the warm up. He's his own headliner. But if you go and you catch his show each day, it'll just run beautifully right into this one. So great to see Steve and Oliver, Clever, Katarina, Paloma, Adonis, Steven. It's great. Thank you guys for all being here as we are going along the show. Please continue to chat. Loved having you guys here. Jesus, how's it going? If you're over on YouTube, make sure you hop on over to Behance. That's where all the chat is happening. The replay will be available on YouTube. So if you're one of the replay viewers, hi, welcome. Good to see you in the future. Glad that we're still around and you can still watch us. So once again, my name is Ryan Selvy. You can follow me on Behance, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, all at Ryan Selvy. I do my own streams when I'm not here, and I'm a motion designer, and I like to walk people through stuff. But that's enough about me, enough about the show, enough about the week. I am really excited to bring in Yash. He is a Indian-based artist, graphic designer. He is the creator and founder of Kickin Studios, who you can also follow on Behance. It's my pleasure to bring him in. So without further ado, please welcome Yash. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Pretty good.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to kick off this week with you. You're the headliner to start it all. And I'm also just really excited to kind of go through your work and go through the pull back the curtain, see if I can, get a little bit better myself. I take these a little selfishly, to be honest. But how was your weekend?
Yeah, just like spend time at home with my friends. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's the best kind of weekend, honestly. We've been moving into this apartment now for about I want to say like 2 months now, and we just still haven't had a nice weekend to just kind of get stuff done. So I am envious of you. Wade already is in the chat. He went ahead and he shared your Behance up here, which I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen so that everyone can see and we can check out to see what you've got going on. But as we do that, do you just want to kind of introduce yourself, tell the audience a little bit about you?
Sure. So, hello everyone. I'm Yash Tambe, based in India. I'm a motion designer, mainly focusing on kinetic typography. I make these mixed media style collages with little bit of added motion to it, just bringing the design to life with motion, with this minimal, very minimalistic approach, and with some imagery and little bit of typography motion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Perfect. I actually found Yach's stuff through Instagram originally. I've used his pieces as a inspiration for a lot of poster design that I've worked on. You have a really good way of not only just working with hierarchy, but making things move in a way that it still feels like a poster, but also adds an extra element of like Harry Potter, and the idea that everything kind of exists. But I guess that kind of puts us in our first segment where we can check out your work. So let's hop on into that. Let's look at your work. All right, so I went and I pulled up your Behance, which you guys can check out once again at behance.net/Kickin. I'll also go ahead and in a little bit we'll also pick up your Instagram. We'll hop into that because I know you're pretty active on Instagram. But when did you start creating motion posters?
So basically, I first like started posting designs on Instagram, and then later like started on Behance as well. So uh, for the still posters, I started, I think, just like starting like end of 2019, and after that like I started posting motion posters, I think in mid 2020, because the pandemic happened, and everybody had a lot of time. So first, as I told, I was posting still posters, and after a point, like I used to post like every day almost. I think 2 months, I
Oof.
posted like still posters, and after that, I got bored of it. I wanted to try something new, so I tried After Effects, and just from there, I started posting motion posters.
I mean, that's such a feat in itself, though. The idea of having to post and create something every single day. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I would also kind of get bored with that as well because it would just be so much. But I mean, do you feel like it really helped inspire your work and grow as an artist, having to kind of have that constraint of designing every day?
Yeah, like when I was doing still ones, like I didn't get much traction to it. Like there was some feedback, but still, like just when I started with motion, right? Like I found like people really liking it. Like there was no one actually doing something like that, and from there, like actually felt that like yeah, this is it. Like I should go in this direction, like explore motion more. And since then, I've been posting just motion posters.
No, they're fantastic. Obviously, they're very good at looping, and they kind of just are these continuous things that just kind of you don't know where it begins and where it ends. Did you end up just teaching yourself After Effects? How did you get into After Effects with your background in static graphic design?
So I get people ask a lot if you went to like design school, or like actually did you study motion design. So I actually learned from all the YouTube tutorials first. I used to watch these random tutorials on YouTube about After Effects, learning the tool, like how it was pretty much intimidating in the beginning. Like After Effects is nothing like what Photoshop and Illustrator is. So it actually took a lot of time to get used to After Effects. I was literally scared of using After Effects, but yeah, like with practice, it got more familiar with it. I mean, doing daily posters, so that made me fluent with After Effects. And you know, After Effects, I think it needs a lot of practice, maybe. I
Yeah.
think from there you can actually learn it.
And I think it's also something that's very familiar to hear. Is everyone is always like, yeah, I wanted to do After Effects, but it was really scary. It was really intimidating. Then once I did it, I kind of just learned it. And I was very much the same way myself. Um, it was something that I kind of like even uh, avoided at all costs. I was doing things in Premiere, and it was so much harder in Premiere, but I was convincing myself that it was easier if I did it that way. And then finally, once I kind of made that leap and I jumped into After Effects, I was like, why did I hold off? Everything is so much better now. um, you can see here that you're playing with different effects that with the same composition, which I think is really cool because obviously this is still vintage classic. um I love the kind of spyglass that you have going on here.
That's
um
the thing with After Effects. Like there's like endless possibilities with motion, right? Like even a single effect can like create a whole different variation of your design. So like stacking different effects can like create different variations of your design.
yeah, it's very much like a collage of effects in a way. It's they can all interact in ways, even when you layer them differently. Like if you put the displacement on top of the other one, you switch the two. Um and it really is cool. It also makes it so that a lot of times you're working in it, and you see something, you're like, I kind of have an idea of how they did that, but I'm not entirely sure. um and it's cool to see um, you specifically taking the same composition, same words, and then also finding new approaches to it. I'm guessing for this one, like this is probably a mat of some kind, and then you kind of
Actually,
just duplicated it.
it's like a displacement map with I think I'd use some fractal noise maybe
Yeah,
with a blocky fractal noise.
and I love how you have the type also flipped. Um, a lot
Yeah.
of your work is inspired with racing. Are you personally into racing, or do you just kind of like it as composition?
No, I'm into like cars and bikes. So and I usually use this like older cars, vintage cars. I actually
Mhm.
like those. So
No, I mean, I think it feels great. I think that you also really experiment with. That's so funny. Um, you also experiment with how the type not only reflects the composition in what it says, but also the formatting of the typefaces you use. And I know one that we'll be looking at in a little bit. You have one that says drift, and you have everything kind of italicized, and it kind of goes back and forth, and um, it works well with the uh, thing at hand. Um, do you feel like you do a lot of these now for clients as well, or is it mostly for your self exploration?
it's a kind of both. Like I do this because I love doing it, obviously,
Hmm.
and like from there, like actually get clients. That's like a bonus on top of it.
Yeah. Do you feel like that is direct result of like doing a daily challenge?
Yeah, I kind of agree to that because Instagram is such that if you post daily, this you build the momentum and your reach is more, and like people who like your design may approach you there, like they would want something similar to for their project.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, posting daily might help.
Is this pinning feature new?
Yeah, it's new. You
It's
can
new, so
actually,
it's your
yeah,
favorite, so you kind of put them up at the top.
yeah. These are like compilation of like bunch of posters.
Rewind
Posted.
volume 3. Is that you, by the way, of the one that's falling?
No,
No,
it's
it's not. Okay.
it's an image from Unsplash.
Oh yeah, no, it's not you. Do you ever use yourself in any of your works or anything? Where do you normally source your content from?
I actually had used like I had a scanner, so I just scanned my hand like on the scanner and used that as a poster, like long back in a still poster.
Oh, that's fun.
And for
Um,
like other images, I just use like the free images on Unsplash or Pixels.
that makes sense. It's really cool how much they have, and just be able to kind of, especially if you're doing a daily challenge, it doesn't really make sense to buy a bunch of
Unsplash
stock every
is
single day. You know?
Unsplash is too good to be free actually. I don't know
Yeah,
how it.
I
They
don't
have
know
like
how they made it. They work. How they made
uh,
it work. You know, um, but it works. So it's great. And then I also just love, like, this is like, I like when you're experimenting, specifically in this rewind, is you're playing a lot with typefaces and variable type, which I know Adobe now has support for, being able to kind of jump between weights and stuff. Um, but is this all just hand done in this way that you have like two different ones you just kind of keyed between the two?
yeah, you just like have two text layers converted into like shape layers. One
Oh,
is bold, one is thin, and you just like copy the paths. There.
that's amazing. And yeah, and I also like the stretch of these as well.
Actually,
Bruce is in the.
that was the part of the 36 days of type.
Oh, was it really? I didn't know you did the 36 days of type.
I did
Um,
it, but I couldn't finish it. Like I didn't finish it. I got bored. So
yeah, how far did you get?
I think till J maybe.
Jay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a decent. That's like 2 weeks, right? A B C D E F G H I J. That's 10 days. Yeah, that's a week and a half. I feel like that's farther than I ever made it with anything.
And I missed like 2 days maybe. I just
Yeah.
combined the letters into one. J and O I just combined into one post.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it works. It's also, you've been doing posters every single day, so I mean, like, it's more or less the same. Bruce is saying that he loves the motion designs. There's also a few people in chat talking about your steering wheel in the back and wondering if your steering wheel works for any of your designs.
Not actually. It's for relaxing.
You're like, that's how I adjust the weights of my typefaces. I just go and I just.
Variable fonts.
Yeah, right. Oh man,
I wish that could be a feature.
there's some guy, I don't know who it is. There's some guy that I follow that he's like built a developer's like
Is it with the
adjustment
controller?
with the controller. Yeah, yeah, you've seen it.
I think
Yeah,
it's processing or I don't know another software. It's like algorithm based design
I
arts.
mean, it's so cool. I mean, I don't know how you would actually be able to then um like understand what you're adjusting and how you that would actually approach to regular designs, but it's cool nonetheless.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, we could do some art talk, and we talk about some art that inspires you. So let's check that out.
I
So
love
first,
this.
thank you very much. It's very intense. Uh, we we have to be like art snobs for a little bit, but no, we don't have to. The first one that we have up, and also Wade, I can also work with you alongside here because I did not send Wade the links to these again, and I'm sorry because I told him I would. But Balgasm is the first one up that you sent over. I have a few examples of his work that you also sent. Do you kind of want to just talk about this artist and why they inspire you?
Yeah. A fun fact like Baugasm is the reason I started posting regularly on my page. So I saw his interview on one of the YouTube channel. It was like an hour-long video, and there he actually did like at that time it was like his second year of posting daily, making a poster a day for 2 years. So
This is
from
day
there,
214.
yeah, I
Wow.
think he completed 3 years and then I think he took a break maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
So from there I
much well
got,
deserved.
yeah, yeah. From there I got inspired. Like if he can do it, even I can do it, right? At least I can give it a try. I didn't commit to like posting every day, but I just started like at least uh, like posting on my page at least. I had opened my Instagram account, in the art account Kickin, in 2018, but it was like all random. Like it was little of sketching, a little bit of photography. But then after seeing that video, I like deleted all the posts and created a format which is the black background and one poster. That's it. So that's where this all started.
That's awesome. I think I can see a lot of the comparisons of your work. I think that obviously they look like two different artists, but I can definitely see the inspiration from it. Um, are you now in the process of continuing to do kind of a daily challenge, or is that kind of just something that helped you grow and now you're doing your own thing?
Like as I told, it's not like a daily challenge posting every day. I just post when I feel like creating. So it's not like a hard commitment that I have to post every day.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, the poster is that on the screen, right? The fun fact about is that he had posted the process of this one. You see the like the the texture that is there on the face, right? That
Right.
is actually actual photo of I think it was a like a holographic a sheet of plastic. He actually photographed that, then cut the background out and like edited the colors, and he used that in his poster. So
I
I
mean,
found it really inspiring that you can use like this.
that's what I'm kind of wondering. Yeah, like when you were talking about how you were scanning your hand for
Yeah,
the static poster. It'd be interesting to see if kind of like bringing in medium from the world around you into your own posters would be really cool.
right.
I know he also kind of like touches in 3D a lot. Is
Yeah,
that something you would ever explore?
yeah. I plan to include like 3D models in my posters, but I'm not sure. Like I'll have to. I'm not figured out it still yet. So, but there are plans of like doing some 3D.
No,
It will be
trust me.
like in similar style, but yeah,
I have been talking about wanting to do 3D in all of my work for years. Wade can attest to that. But it's just that's a whole nother venture, you know. It's like After Effects was scary as is. It's like a
yeah.
whole nother medium on top of it.
I actually
Um,
used to do 3D before. Like I used to do like car modeling and rendering. So I
did
don't
you
know. Like
really?
yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, then I would totally love to see some of like car renderings into some of your works, especially because you already have the cutout of the cars, you know.
yeah, right.
Um, all
Maybe in the
right.
future.
Next up, we have actually an artist that I had already followed before you mentioned him to me. And his name is Anthony Velen. The first one we have is like a sunglass exploration.
Yeah.
Um, did you find him after you were already doing your motion challenges?
Yeah, I like discovered him like while I was like just got into motion. So I was looking for artists that do kinetic typography. So he was one of the first artists I found, and he was like the one of the primary inspiration for me for motion.
Yeah, I mean, he also, once again, is like experimenting with some 3D and some 2D,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I really like his exploration of type and how he moves type, which reminds me of yours. Um, Something that I see in your work that I'm kind of curious if it has inspiration in is your work feels very like responsive design, almost like a web layout. Do you ever reference kind of websites as they um, develop as well, or is that kind of just something that can be, I don't know, compared but isn't
Yeah.
necessarily an inspiration?
Few of the website like they like I have some inspiration from them as well. Like the Apple when they launch some product, and when
Hmm.
you scroll it and like you have those elements moving, right? Like phone moving, and the like the phone can like rotate, and the other colors can be other color phones can be displayed, right? So even that was a inspiration, like websites.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that stuff is beautiful, and it's also just like such a new. approach to design. I mean, motion design's been around obviously since like the advent of film in its own regard, but it's only getting more and more complex. And it's also interesting to see how different like trends happen and kind of like, yeah, to your point, the iPhone kind of swiveling is a beautiful function. And it's cool to be able to kind of see that into posters.
Yeah.
Let's check out another one that you sent over. You sent over this this plus sign. What do you like about this piece?
Yeah, I like when you see in like when the start of the loop, right? It's like you'll assume that it's like flat layers, right? Then actually you'll see the shadows and all. Then you'll realize it's a 3D render. So I like that like simplicity in that.
Yeah, it kind of just like completely challenging your, I don't know, understanding of like what you're looking at. Also, kind
Yeah.
of how it's divided up into three is cool.
Mhm.
It's
And it's the cubes are rotating in like two axes.
yeah, which is
So,
weird. Um, and then we also have this one too, which has this kind of gross, honestly, but gross in such a cool way. You know what I
look
mean?
satisfying.
It's very satisfying. It it definitely is once again challenging legibility and challenging how you read it, but you know you can continue to read it kind of as it makes its way around, just depending on how you focus on it.
Yeah.
Um, got some close-ups with some detail shots. It's just
Even
wild.
like the depth, there's depth in the design. Like the shadows are deep and it's like
Yeah,
almost a metallic feel to it.
and as it's like coming out of the darkness and going back into darkness, and yeah, no,
I
it's
love these
beautiful.
close-ups.
And then finally, the last one we have is Chris Ashworth, and he is way more static than anything else that you have
Yeah.
sent over. How did you find him, and what do you like about his work?
Even I found like Chris from an interview on YouTube, and he does like lot of analog stuff, actual graphics on paper. So he was inspiration for like when I was doing these still posters. So I really like the textures he includes in his designs.
Especially with these close-up, these
Yeah,
like detail shots that he has. And you
yeah,
said it's all like analog, so this is actually tape that
yeah,
he actually like applies down.
yeah.
That's
And
really
those
cool.
like type is from, I think it's called letra set. Those you just scratch those on paper, and that gets transferred to the paper beneath it.
Now, do
It's
you
an
ever work in analog yourself? Did you ever work on in physical kind of print?
I want to, but I haven't got a chance to do it. I might do it in future. I also want to try analog motion, so frame by frame motion, actual on paper. So it will be challenging.
Yo,
It might be fun.
that would be quite the undertaking, but it would really pay off. I follow a few people on Instagram and TikTok that have done some pretty crazy frame by frame animation. I'm always like, I feel like my keyframes are tedious, and then you know, then I see what these people do, and I'm like, wow, that's
And
next
even
level.
in analog motion design, like the easing and all will be much more difficult, I think.
Yeah, no, because you can't just say ease and then like adjust the
Yeah.
curve. You have to kind of account for it with, you know, different frames and different pictures.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's interesting how his work like here doesn't really even have like much of a message. It's just more of aesthetics, even though it is, you know, a poster of I've something, a cautionary. He's, you can see over here that says I've lost you, which I guess is kind of like what is being uh,
Mm.
hidden. But it's interesting to see how he plays with the ability to um, like what is shown, what is not shown, and what is kind of need to be said, and what is just kind of additive. Um, Also, it's really cool how he also incorporates what he has as his quote unquote like ingredients with each one. Because I don't even know what like letter set is. I guess
Letters
that's
is
the type.
that thing I told for the typography.
Oh yeah, and you just kind of just like scratch it off or whatever. I've done back in college we got to use like the old school letterpress machines. And that was really cool, but it also was like, man, had I been born in like 1900, I don't know if I would be into graphic design because this is so tedious. You know, you got to put little spots in between all the letters and stuff.
There's no undo button there.
Yeah, no, it
You
was
start
cool for a day, but
over.
I don't know if I could make a profession out of it. Um, but I mean, it's very cool when people do it.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, finally we have this one, which he has, and how to get so dark. I love his use of kind of translucent mediums, and then also the texture here, and he has some overlap.
I
Um,
love the layering in this one.
yeah, it's wonderful. It just adds a lot of depth, and really feels like a
Even today, like
multi-layered piece.
this style has picked up. Like actually, people like mimic analog style in digital. So
Yeah, I mean, you try to make something in digital to look as if it's physical, and it's like, you know, for the longest time it was the opposite,
yeah,
um, and now it's kind of like going back to its roots almost.
yeah, all
Um,
the old stuff is coming back. Like even I like recently got into film photography. You know those like 35 mm negatives. So I
mhm.
started that again.
Oh, that's cool. So do you just like, I don't know, put it into like a threshold filter so that it feels like it's like black and white that you can then kind of like turn into a negative?
No, no, like actual proper like photography from that old camera, like 25, 30
Oh,
years old.
cool. Yeah, where'd
Yeah.
you get the old camera from?
It was available here, like in it's not in production obviously, so you
Mhm.
have to buy the old camera. So
Yeah, and you have to get you. Then you're like suddenly committed to like being like, all right, I'm committed to finding this film, and if I can't find it online, then I can't use this. But you
and
know,
in that you'll have to actually have to think about like before clicking because you have limited clicks, right? Yeah. In
hmm
one roll you'll get just 30 or 35 clicks from that. So you'll
yep,
have to think before actually clicking it.
very intentional, very limited. I mean, it's like I remember having those disposable cameras where you know you would have the little number as you did it, and that, I mean, you take those now, and it's just a completely different feel as to like, I don't know. Now we have our iPhones. You just take as many as you want.
Right.
Um, Bruce in the chat is asking if there's a new motion trend that comes out, how does one start to find how it's made? And have you ever been there? Do you ever see something and you kind of like wonder how to do it yourself and you kind of have to problem solve it? And kind of how do you approach that?
Again, like lot of experimenting. Let's just watch that. If I want to like learn about like how they did it, I'll just keep watching that design over and over again, figure out like what effects they have used, try it myself. Like again, like lot of experimenting, or you can just like dig deeper in YouTube and find any videos on it maybe.
Honestly, what I have done in the past is I have actually downloaded, whether it's from Behance or Instagram, I've downloaded it through different means, and then I open it in Photoshop. And then in Photoshop, you can open it up as like a GIF, and it
Mhm.
will then show you frame by frame like what things are. And I've done that a few times to kind of try to reverse engineer or like really see in slow time, frame by frame, how it's kind of edited. But especially once you get into effects and stuff, it kind of gets wonky and crazy. Um, but yeah, so if you wouldn't mind, do you want to kind of hop into the programs and start designing a little bit something?
Yeah,
Yeah, to see the magic behind how it's all made.
sure.
Cool. So right before the stream, we were actually talking about your background too, which is beautiful. How did you come to creating Kickin? Did that respond? Was that a response to kind of getting into posters, or was that something that you've always wanted to do and you've kind of always wanted to have a studio for it?
I actually like I have studied architecture,
No
and
way, I didn't know that.
I just graduated last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So like graphic design, motion design was never like it. it was more like a hobby, and uh, I kind of started making a shift in my career in 2020 as I started posting, right, getting clients from design, because I didn't like ever thought like making posters can, you know, it can be my daily job, right?
Yeah, like your full-time gig.
So from there, like I got a feeling that I this can happen. So I started like losing interest in architecture. Like I wanted to drop out actually, but then my friends told, because there was just 1 year left, right, to complete that degree.
Yeah.
So I just finished it and like got into full time designing.
You know what I will say though, and I see it in New York, is is now this kind of new wave of motion design, uh, like motion design taking over spaces and with projections and these huge screens. I'll have to send you some stuff, especially down near One World Trade. They have exteriors where they change the motion graphics, or they have these long hallways on the subway that have these giant billboards that move and kind of really create the space. Um, and it's kind of cool. Maybe you'd be able to marry the two and still play with the idea of creating space in an architectural setting, but also have motion.
Right. Yeah.
Could be cool
I mean, there are screens everywhere nowadays. So I think motion
everywhere.
is here to stay.
Motion ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what are we making? What are we doing?
So I was like recently I started making like a newer format designs. So I was thinking like we can make something like this today.
Beautiful.
This one was actually an older design. So th- I have another like my personal page where I do like random. It's more like trying out different styles. It's
Oh, cool.
so here I don't follow like any format. So it's like anything that I want to create, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't want to post on Kickin. So here you can see like I try like different stuff. So this is like some kind of dark art, and here
Beautiful.
I was trying like collages, like minimal collages.
Heck yeah. And playing with that color of like desaturated versus fully saturated. It
Yeah,
also, like, I know you say don't stick to a theme, but you can still kind of blend them all together. You can tell they're all by the same artist, which is really nice, even if they're different explorations. I mean, you've got fractals there. You're playing with blurring. Um, that's crazy. Very trippy.
fractals are like mind blowing. It's all done with math, so it's crazy.
Yeah, just visualized beautiful rainbow math.
So yeah, this is the 3D art, right? The
Oh, cool.
model is not by me. It was like free resource. I just like did the rendering and texture.
And the composition and yeah, and the feel to it. I mean, it's got a lot going on. Is that the
So
DeLorean? Is that what that
yeah,
is? From Back
yeah,
to the Future? Very
yeah.
cool.
So this is where like I start a project and don't finish it. When I get bored, I just close the project.
I
So you can
mean,
see.
there's plenty of artists that happens to all the time, and it's just like kind of you can't turn your brain off from moving on to the next thing, which gets you probably cooler things because then you kind of build it out.
Right. So here is like little bit of more 3D stuff.
Ooh, kind of makes me think of those kinetic sculptures. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So we'll try to make something like this today.
All right, I'm
So I'll
excited.
start in Illustrator. So this is like a basic like vertical format for phones. So as I'll be just uploading this on Instagram.
And so you normally just start with like a blank canvas, and maybe just like start pulling in like imagery or shapes that you like first.
Yeah, for this one, like I don't have any process right now. Like I just start with some like shapes.
How long would you say that a normal poster takes you to do on any given, I don't know, exploration?
It actually depends. If I have any like rough idea in my mind, it might take like half an hour. But there are times like where I've completed the poster in 5 minutes, like 10 minutes,
Right.
and there are some like where I've took like 4 or 5 hours also. So like really depends. Like,
Yeah, like I'm sure the average is probably way off than like that doesn't necessarily mean that they always take 5 hours or 5 minutes, but probably just the range that you have is probably nuts.
yeah, I'd say the average is an hour for, for making a poster.
Oh, 100%. You have to feel it as you're kind of working it out. Oh, turn on some music. Let's listen. We've got how about daydreaming? I'm gonna turn it down a little bit though. Just add some vibes. And I guess we can also take this time kind of as we're hopping into things. How's everybody doing in the chat? How's everybody doing? See Bruce, Oliver, Paloma, Wade, it's all hanging. Like I said, if you're over on YouTube, make sure you hop on over to Behance and you come say hello. But also, if you're just working and lurking, we like that too. It's good to have you guys. We are still going to be up for about another like hour and 15 minutes. And we still got some more stuff planned. We're going to do some monkey paws in just a little bit, probably at the hour mark. We'll take a quick break to do that. We're also going to do From This to That, where we look at Yash's old work and then kind of see how it transforms into his current day stuff. Yeah, it'll be good. So make sure that you're sticking around. We have Annika in the chat. Hi. She says weird weather and not doing good. Hi. Well, that's not great, but it is great to see you. And thanks for being here. Thunderground. So yeah, how do you normally do you have a set of typefaces that you like to stick to? Are you constantly kind of just experimenting with new ones, or are you more in the, kind of just like the old regulars?
A kind of mix of both. I have this bunch of typefaces. Like I use it regularly, and I'm a big simp of Panagram Foundry. Like whatever they make, I'll definitely use it. So this is like this is formula condensed from Panagram Foundry.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice font.
Formula condensed. I'll see if I can grab a link to it. Maybe even just the Foundry. Oh yeah, I've seen this Foundry before. This is There we go. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. I'll also actually put it in for the actual condensed version as well. It is funny how there's like certain foundries that you'll find and you're just like, gosh, everything that you guys do is great. There's a guy on Gumroad that I use this stuff all the time. And I'm like, maybe I should branch out a little bit more. And I'm like, nah, I love all this stuff. I'll just be his hype man.
Yeah.
Oliver also said he's doing well. He's doing okay. Bruce is liking to see the process and the breakdown. But yeah. I'll give you a little bit of time off screen if you want to stretch your face. Annika says that she's reminded of Elliot as a cool guy, which he also streams, and he also does some great poster design. But she wants to know, how do you normally get inspired? Where do you normally find inspiration when you're in a rut?
Inspiration is actually everywhere. So, I follow a lot of design pages, designers on Instagram. So, even if I like scroll through my Instagram, like I found inspiration there as well. There's one example. I'd seen a story of my friend on Instagram where it was actually a toy. And, uh, it was like bunch of kind of sticks on a disc, and like if you press it from below, like you can see the impression of your hand above the that toy, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
inspired me to create one of the posters. I can just pull it out.
You just always have the little kids that like go into like a Spencer's Gifts and they just take it and they just put their face on it, and you're like, oh God, you don't know how many hands have been on that thing.
So this was inspired from that. This is actually like
Oh, too cool.
footage of my hand. So it's like this looped video.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, this took a lot of time to figure out like how to do this. So what's happening in this poster is it's like bunch of square footage lined up in a grid, and so this is affected by a gradient which is there below, and it might get complex, but it's actually so the gradient, right? Whatever is white is like the palm is facing up, and whatever is black, the palm is facing down. So it's like the gradient is affecting the rotation of that palm. So
Oh,
it
that's
was
cool.
like
And
nice.
so, did you build that out like manually, in the sense that like you went to each one individually, or did you have some sort of
No, no,
thing where it
it was
adjusted?
like affected by the expression. So
No
even
way. That's
expression
cool.
took a lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, expressions are no joke. That's the one thing that kind of still continues to scare me. I'm a lot better at them than I used to be, but I still have a long way to learn.
I know these basic expressions like wiggle and
Mm-hmm.
nothing crazy.
Now, there's some people that hop in and they just like are like coders, and it just like feels like they're hacking the mainframe as they're working it on.
Yeah. I wish I knew expressions.
Bruce says he likes the pun in the description, and I don't know what pun I did. Kickin Studios, he walks us through his exciting poster design process. Expert designing tips and tricks and explained series in this special offset episode. What's the pun, Bruce? What's the pun, Bruce? Ooh, I like the line kind of like navigating its way around the shapes. That's cool. The poster is handmade. Oh, ha ha ha. That's funny. I get it now. Because it was a bunch of your hands. It's handmade.
Nice.
Clever and dumb, and I like it. No, I would love to see do more stuff with like scanning and finding your own stuff to kind of implement, because that was really clever to see. Annika wants to know if the cat has made an appearance today. He has not. He's been slightly off camera, and I think he has meowed into the microphone a few times, so I apologize for that. But I'm trying to turn my camera off whenever he comes and tries to take over the whole screen. He was definitely on screen when Yash and I were doing the tech check. I was like, no, please go away. But no, he's around. We'll see. He'll make an appearance, even if I don't want him to. Never apologize for the meow, says Paloma. I'll tell you what, though, he has been annoying the daylights out of me. He's been waking me up at like 4:30 every single morning, just like standing on top of me, meowing. I'm like, I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. Do you think you'll ever make it to 1,000?
1,000 posters.
Yeah.
I hope so.
It'll have to be like a gold-plated one. You'll have to get it like, actually printed out into a whole thing. Yeah. Do you ever like sell any of your posters as prints or anything?
I don't do prints, but like people, they ask like a pre-made, the poster which is already there on my page. They just ask for the same design, just with little bit of text change maybe. So
Oh yeah, for like a client process or something. For the long time there was these frames, and they're kind of coming back into the popular psyche because of NFTs or whatever. But for the longest time there was these frames, and they were by this company called Smart Objects, and they were awesome because they were basically just were living posters that would be like a frame that you would put on your wall. And back in like 2018, 2017, Giphy, GIPHY, bought the company and stopped production. And I thought that they would release like something that would then replace that, but they haven't replaced it. And I would love that, because I would love to just be able to like walk around and just have like motion posters on my wall at any given, time. I think they're
where those like
cool.
physical screens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never
heard of it.
Yeah, no, because the thing is, I don't think they make them anymore, because I think Giphy bought them and just shut them down, which is a bummer. I don't know why, because they make GIFs, so it's like, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Smart Objects, it was something objects. Smart Things? I don't know. Motion frames. Let's see if someone in the chat knows what I'm talking about. But I want to normalize that. Oh, Bruce is excited that you just switched it to Dugas Pro.
Even that's a cool one.
Annika says yes. She thinks that the kitten jumping on top of me and screaming me awake at 4 o'clock is a kitten thing. Yeah, I'm ready for it to not be a thing anymore. It's fine. What's your favorite type of car?
I like those old Porsches.
Old Porsches?
Yeah.
The bunch of circles next to each other just made me think of an Audi, and I feel like Audi can hold their own sometimes.
Yeah, even I like these old BMWs.
Old BMWs are cool. It's funny how they like switched from, they were like boxy and they looked out of date, and now if you have like a boxy BMW, it's like, cool, you got a boxy BMW. Like it looks like it's from the 90s, but in a very cool way. I wonder if like boxy cars will ever come back, because they're not as aerodynamic, but maybe with like electronic fuel rather than gas, you don't have to worry about aerodynamics as much. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Do you know MKBHD?
No, I don't. What's that?
So he made a video. Ford company made a concept car with. So basically, the body of the car was the old F-150 truck, but it was electric. So I thought that was really cool.
Oh, they just changed the interior of it to kind of be updated with electric. That's really cool.
They should actually make it a real car.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've always kind of wanted to see if you could do that. If you could just take really, really old cars and just like soup them out on the inside. But I feel like that would gut so many car enthusiasts, because they'd be like, you're taking away the actual thing. I'm like, yeah, I guess. But if you were to find it in a junkyard, it wouldn't be bad, because you're not gutting it then. It's already in a junkyard. So. So do you feel like you normally generally start in binary as far as just like black and white, and then you'll add color later, kind of after you have the structure?
Yeah. So basically, like for all my posters, right, I'll start with making like rough comps in Photoshop or Illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
Later, like if I see it working, I'll take that in After Effects and like animate it.
Cheryl's saying that the Kia Soul is pretty square. Kia tends to make really square cars. Like they had that box with the hamsters for a while, I remember. I don't think they have that anymore, though. It was a weird car.
I even get ideas from like just browsing on Unsplash and seeing different images, right?
Mm-hmm.
There, like I can imagine like what animation can be done in that image.
Right, like just being able to see what you can kind of mask out, what you can content aware fill. Okay, cool. So wait, what'd you just do just there? Can you walk us through that a little bit?
So I wanted like a star shape. So I just like aligned 4 circles like this.
Okay.
I used I think it's called shape shape builder tool. So if you click on the middle, right, it creates a shape there, and I just hold Alt and like drag it to the areas I don't want.
And then it's gone. It's beautiful. I didn't know you could kind of do the negative space. I knew you could do the shape builder tool in the way that you could like bring things together, but I've never really used it in a way of almost like a negative pathfinder in a way. The way I normally do those like bursts as well too is if you go and you create a circle and then you go to effect, distort, pucker, and bloat, you can bring it down, but then you also have to go and then you have to expand the shape as well.
Yeah, that's one.
That also gives you a similar way. I am a sucker for those starbursts though. I like to add them to a lot of my designs. Annika can tell you. It's kind of like weird, like working so close with other artists because you all see each other's art so much, and then you're kind of like, oh, but you know the things that I use a lot. You know what I like to rely on. Oliver's talking about how there's companies that do electric conversions on classic cars, but they're really expensive. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I'm sure there's a lot of nuance into like what you have to change, and also the complexity of probably having to pull things out without damaging the integrity of the car.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. You could probably like rotate that thing like almost like a screw.
Yeah, like while I like make these layouts, right? Like in back of my mind, I'll be thinking about like what can be moving in, what can be the moving element in this.
Just like random elements that can kind of just add subtle motion.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we are about an hour into our broadcast. Time is flying because we're having a good time. But I think now is a great time. We're going to put a pause to the music because we're going to hop on into Monkey Paws. So you can either continue to work, you can take a break, or you can do your Monkey Paws with us. But I will walk you through it. So let's check it out. So Monkey Paws, we have our own little like segment for it too. Also, we have got a cat appearance right here. Here's Roscoe, everybody. He's here for the carpal tunnel exercises. But basically, as artists, it's really important that you take care of these guys, because these are the guys that are going to help you create the things that you want to create. And obviously, sitting at computers all day, especially ever since lockdown, is it's something that you just kind of have to focus on how your bodies are being affected. So I learned this from Anna Daviscourt. She's a streamer on Behance. She's an illustrator as well. She has made these beautiful illustrations on the bottom, and I did some animation for it. But all you're going to do, you're going to shake it on up. You're going to put your hands out like this. Also, monkey paws. Paws, not pox. I feel like there's a lot of conversations about monkey pox, and I keep thinking that I'm going to do a slip up and say monkey pox. I'm sorry if you do. But we're just going to do monkey paws. So first thing we're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to reach out with your hands like this, okay? And you're going to bring down and hold for a few seconds. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. It's the first one. All right. Then you're going to go, I'm going to release, go down like this. Bring in your fingers again, monkey paws. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. If you feel any like tension or if you feel any like discomfort, obviously stop. It's gonna feel a little bit tight, probably, but that's all just part of it. So you go from that the third one we're gonna do is we're gonna flip our hands over. We're like, give it to you. I'm going to give you the monkey paws. All right, and then you're gonna go same thing. Bring them in. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. This one's always pretty easy for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's pretty easy for me. And then the last one, which is my least favorite. Here you go. Are you ready for this? Is from the giving, you're going to bring it to yourself, give it to yourself, and then you're going to bring those in. Monkey paws. Monkey paws. Yep. You're going to shake it up. And you're going to do this a few times. We're only going to do it maybe one or two more times just because, obviously you don't want to sit here and just watch me play with my hands the whole day. But especially, we just got a bunch of new viewers. So if you were joining, I'm gonna put this up here so you have more room for my hands. It's gonna be straight in front of my face. Okay, you ready for this? All right, so I'm gonna go forward. And I hope everyone's doing this with me in the chat. That's why you're not typing, because you're all stretching right now. Okay, so go forward. Ooh, ah, ah. The noises are very important. If you don't do the noises, it doesn't work. All right, then go down. Ooh, ah. Oliver's saying I'm streaming live monkeypox to everyone. I'm not doing that. I'm not liable for that. Go like this. Ooh, ah, ah. I like how it's deciding to put my microphone in frame, or in focus. All right, then forward. Ooh, ah, that's the one that hurts, but it shouldn't hurt. If it hurts, stop. I'm not a medical professional. Okay. Shake it up, and then we'll just do one more, and then we'll stop. Then we'll go right back, and we'll check out what Yash is working on. All right. Ooh, ah, ah. Ooh, ah, ah. I feel like I should have put on more playful music for this one instead of just silence of my oohs and my ah-ahs, but it's fine. Ah, ah. And towards yourself. Ooh, ah, ah. Cool. All right, and that is monkey paws. If you just do it a few times a day, it'll help, especially if you're feeling any carpal tunnel. I also have this beautiful ergonomic. I guess it is aerodynamic too. Speaking of the cars and what have you, you could blow some wind on that. It would go by pretty quick. But this also really helps if you are challenged with any carpal tunnel and any pain in your wrists or your hands. It might be helpful because repetitive motion doesn't really make sense from an evolutionary point. And here we are anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna turn the music back on, but we're not gonna do daydreaming today. Did we do Into Space already? Let's do night driving instead. This is a fun one. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring Yash back in. Welcome back. Ooh, you made a lot of progress. What did you typed a whole novel while we were gone?
No, it's like a random paragraph. So
You're like, it's my manifesto.
by the way, even I have a ergonomic mouse.
Oh, do you really? Yeah. They're a game changer,
Plus, these have like a programmable button, so it's really useful. Like you can assign any shortcuts to it.
Oh, do you do that? Do you like incorporate that into your workflow? Do you add like
Yeah,
shortcuts onto them?
yeah, I use it a lot in After Effects.
Oh, that's awesome. My old roommate had like one like a little board with little like sliders and twists and stuff. And he said when he remembered to use it, it was really helpful, but he had to really kind of like force himself to update his workflow. Annika's also reminding us to stretch your neck, shoulders, drink water, relax your eyes, and save. Yes. Have you saved yet, Yash?
No, actually.
Playing with fire. Playing with fire.
Thanks for reminding.
Oh, we have a cat appearance. Hello, cat. Front and center. And we have a meow. There it is. That was definitely loud and clear.
Let's go.
Did you know? I have some interesting facts about barcodes, by the way. Barcodes, they don't read the black, they read the white.
I think I knew about it, yeah.
I think it like reads the negative space between things rather than actually. So I mean, I guess it kind of still is reading the black there, but like it's something to do with it. Like reads the different. I don't know. The cutest meow, says Penny. Thank you. Wow, you did great. Also, Annika, I don't know how we're supposed to relax our eyes. Do you want to just... All right, design for the next 10 minutes with your eyes closed, Yash.
You can jump into After Effects now.
Yeah, you're about ready? So you got your structure. So how do you kind of format and update your file before hopping over to After Effects? Because I see right now you have it in two different layers. You have your background layer and then your foreground layer. Do you normally import your file with your foreground layer all like as one?
No, actually, I use this plugin called Overlord.
Overlord. I love Overlord.
It's a lifesaver.
Yes, it's amazing.
It gets really easy to like import After Effects Illustrator shapes into After Effects. So I use that to import the shapes.
And hop in between. I even sometimes go over on After Effects and send it back to Illustrator just to edit something quickly before then having it updated. But let's check out your workflow, though. I mean, let's check out your space. How do you set up your After Effects? Because everyone plays with it a little bit differently.
So this is like a different layout for my So I make these vertical posters, right? So this layout works better for it. So I have all my panels on one side, and the poster is like large enough to cover like the maximum area. So this is like my like basic template for my posters.
Oh, just like your basic like file structure.
Yeah. So here I make the actual poster, and that is linked into like a template for the Instagram. So it comes out directly like this.
Oh, so then you can easily post it to Instagram and have it kind of like documented in that kind of negative space, which is cool.
And this, the main file will be like in a larger dimension. So if I want to like export a still, I can still do it.
That's cool. I also see ease copy, which I also have. I love ease copy and motion 3. I also use that one as well.
Yeah, motion 3 is also really good. Plugin.
And then obviously Overlord. You have your align set up there and your paragraph. We have a bizarrely similar layout of our After Effects, which is kind of cool.
I still find like making little changes here and there in the layout, just like continuously optimizing the layout.
It's just like sometimes you need way more space for other things, and then then all of a sudden you need a bunch more space for all of your keyframes. Also, Richard, I do see your comment about the cat being cute. Thank you. I take full credit. Is anybody else working on work as they watch? Do we have any working and lurking happening? And if so, what are you working on? In just a little bit, we will be doing the From This to That segment where we look at Yash's old work and kind of how it has adapted to new work. Now, do you have it set up so when you push layers over to it, they divide up into multiple layers as well? Or actually, I just saw you just switched it right there so that it didn't. So it's all one singular thing.
So like for example, this element won't, I don't have any plans to animate this, right? So it's better to have it in one single layer.
Yep. Wade said he is working on something. Penny is always working and lurking. And Richard is working on some photos and a product label. Oh, that's really cool. Product labels are tough because you have to not only make it interesting and legible, you also have to like build in all this space for things that are like mandated, you know, like maybe a barcode or, you know, the nutritional information. I've only done it like professionally, I think twice, and I remember getting really frustrated with just like how much space I had to sacrifice for things that weren't even fun information. That said, packaging design is very fun if you can really experiment and have fun. Cheryl's using InDesign to finish a catalog. That's great. Penny is an art director for a business-to-business pet professional company, so checking ads before they run in this publication. Real snooze. Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, but you got to do it because the second that you don't, you're going to have something weird pop up in your publication. So proofreading is underrated, but also I can definitely see it's super boring. And look at how easily and seamlessly we have just transferred this whole thing into After Effects straight from Illustrator with a bunch of different layers. I'm seeing you're using hidden layers. Do you use hidden layers a lot?
Yeah, like otherwise it gets really messy with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm always like worried that I'm going to hide layers and then forget they're there. But then
Yeah,
I'm like,
that happens sometimes.
And you're like, why is this not working? Why is this acting so weird? Like, why is this track mat being strange? And then you realize that there is a whole barrage of layers that I've already hidden. You're using the relocator of the anchor point there.
Really helpful because if you see, like when I imported the circle, like the anchor point is where you're like. So suppose if I want to scale it, so it scales something like this. So really helpful. Choose the anchor point.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier.
So as well as I was telling, right, about the mouse I use with the programmable button. So I do a lot of sequencing layers. So suppose if I want to offset these layers, right? So you have to go your keyframe assistant and press on sequence layers. So instead of that, I have this shortcut on my uh, mouse. So I just press the button and I can just sequence the layers.
No way. Okay. That's what I honestly also didn't even know that you could do the sequence thing. So I feel like that is a good call out for this bad boy.
What? I didn't know that was there.
Also, like there's like very specific things in After Effects. Like this sequence layer was really specific. So what you can do is to you can assign a shortcut to like all these specific uh, commands, right? So here you can just type out whatever you want, like sequence layers, and you can see like here I've assigned like custom shortcut, and this shortcut is fed into the mouse software I use. So that's how I program the buttons. Like
Yeah. Do you have a lot of programmable shortcuts that you have custom set up?
yeah, actually the mouse I use, you can actually program 25 shortcuts to it.
Wow, 25, really?
I barely use like 5.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like that's too much.
25 is actually a lot. So
No, yeah, I don't even know what you would. I don't even know if I do 25 things in After Effects.
yeah.
That's a joke, but still. All right, cool. So we can also still come back to this as we can continue to work on it, but I do want to take some time to do from this to that real quick, and we can just take a look at some of your older work, and we can talk about it. You can either continue to work and then you can just like check out the screen as we happen, or you can take a break from designing. Really up to you. But let's hop on in to from this to that.
From this to that.
Like I said, from this to that is a fun little segment that we have, which just brings some of the older work for guests and brings it into the most recent work, and also looking at a little bit in between. With Yash, I asked him to send over a few ones that he found were good representatives of kind of, I guess, his growth as an artist and how they did. So the first one that we have up is this beautiful piece from 2019. And there's a storm coming up is kind of what it says. And this was back from, like I said, February 2019, which, wow, man, that is 3 years ago now, which is nuts. But I guess this is just kind of like towards the beginning of your poster design exploration, right?
Right. So you can see like a lot of Baugasm influence in these posters.
And this was number 8, right? So is this the 8th poster that you have done in your kind of like your daily thing?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's wild. And I think that there's still like a lot that reigns true, kind of your modular layout, how you are playing with type kind of surrounding a like centered object, even if it's like an abstract geometric shape. But there's also a few things in here. Like I feel like you're not as organic with your lines now. Like this kind of has like a topographic feeling, and I feel like you're much more modular and organized in the creations that you make now.
Right. Yeah.
Next up, we have the piece from 2020, and this one plays a lot with these beautiful gradient blurs that you have kind of popping in and out. Now this is August 2020, so it had been like a year and a half since your previous one.
Right.
And this doesn't even have any kind of like structure to it outside of just a loopable in and out vibe. What was the inspiration for this one?
I'm not sure like what inspired for this. Like I was just messing around with the echo effect in After Effects, so like accidentally found this technique. So
Yeah,
like,
how did you kind of go about this? Is it just like has a trail effect on it and then you blur it out?
yeah, like using like stacking like echo effects on like different layers, colored layers. So one is the purple one, like one is the orange one, and the last one is the normal like white layer. So like using two echo effects in it.
It's beautiful. I also like how you incorporated this center negative space in the center, kind of as it all pivots around, and almost feels like a clock structure in a way. And then finally up here we have one from January 2022, and we've got a cool like Bond car kind of with high velocity. And this is kind of when I was really talking about the idea of responsive design, especially in web, and that being a direct like inspiration. Because I just love how there's parts of the landscape that kind of get cropped out as you resize the image, then also how the circle moves, and then of course the responsive type itself is very cool. But what do you feel like you have learned over the last 3 years that kind of is really present in between your first one that we looked at and this one?
So like the tools wise, like After Effects, you never stop learning in that at least. Like even today, like I find like new techniques like you can experiment with. So, and about the styles, like I like to try out new styles for the designs. Like as you have seen, like over the all like 2-3 years, there's like different styles I've tried. So I'm like always open to trying new ones.
Yeah, it feels like you kind of right now have a style that's very inspired by kind of like mid-century like mid 20th century vibes with things that like might be in magazines,
Yeah,
like Life magazine or something, back in like the 60s, in such a classy way, a way that feels intentional and feels like it feels like you found something really cool in the past. And then I went ahead, I also went and I grabbed a handful of other ones from your Instagram. I have the one from 2018. We have 2020, and then we have one that you actually just posted like 2 days ago, 2-3 days ago. And the 3D type that you have kind of going over in Mad Lad is crazy. And I'd seen a few different ones. I think I might have even found you kind of through that. And it's crazy that these all three feel so different.
Yep.
And it's cool to see your growth and kind of how things are moving around, and also just your use of negative space, especially the one on the right, kind of having the after hours towards the bottom and just having so much of that space of just sky above. Very cool. Very cool. And that, everybody, was From This to That. So thank you for sharing. And I'm excited to see how stuff continues to grow. We'll have to check it out again in another 3 years.
sure.
All right, so back in After Effects. Still going ahead and animating.
I've animated this bit.
Okay.
So this is just like motion, like left to right motion, and on top of that, I've applied the echo effect with like 5-6 copies to it. So if I turn,
okay.
you can see it like there's just one circle.
Now the echo effect, is that kind of the same one that you used when you had the AAA poster that we just checked out?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And so that's actually just one singular circle. You didn't actually go and apply all the ones that you had in like the concepting phase, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Another thing, like I recently discovered, like if you have some paths in After Effects, right? So if you just select the anchor points And if you press Control T, right, you can actually scale the path.
Oh, cool.
Only that bit.
Do you see that was Control P as in like pony?
No, it's Control T. I think it's for
Oh,
trans.
Control T like transform. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that is really cool.
Just like how I used pony for whatever for P. I couldn't think of anything else. No, that's super helpful. I was watching E.C. Abrams a few months ago, and I had seen that he had like taken some form of anchor points and had like double clicked them, and like a dialogue popped up so that he could scale them. And I was just so blown away by the idea that you could do that, because for the longest time I had not been messing with that. There's also another cool extension I use. It's called Pen Pal, and that one's really cool because you can like throw paths into it and adjust them a little bit closer to how Illustrator adjusts them, and you don't have to hop back into Illustrator. But that one's pretty cool. So you just grabbed a cool scenic view from like Unsplash.
I actually have a large bank of images. So like whenever I get free time, I just go on Unsplash and like keep downloading like bunch of images which I found.
Mm-hmm. Kind of interested if you'd be able to. It obviously wouldn't work from a technical perspective, but in one of the ones that we had looked at, you had kind of added this cool glass effect of stretching to the type. I wonder if you could also even do that for the barcode in the bottom left and kind of have that almost like scale and warp.
Which effect?
Let me see if I can find it. We looked at it just a little bit ago, and I'll see if I can check it out again. And by no means do you have to follow my recommendation. I just was thinking of stuff.
There's another cool plugin called I think it's called Effects Copilot. I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
but like you don't have to use the effects and presets tag. You just assign custom shortcuts and you can just type whatever effect you want.
No way. That's cool. That's
So
really
it's
helpful.
Really useful.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's for this one that looks like here with Silverstone or Sliverstone.
Yeah.
How did you, what is that effect? What are you doing for that?
It's actually like it's just text sliding to the left, and on top of that I have the time displacement effect. It's actually a really cool effect.
Time displacement? Oh,
Yeah.
because you're sliding the text and then you're displacing when it's moving over.
Right.
Whoa, cool.
So you have like a normal white to black gradient, which is affecting the time on that layer.
Mm-hmm. Using a tint as like almost like a gradient map there. Ooh, what is this?
So this is like a software called I think it's called Power Tools.
Uh-huh.
So this is actually for when you have wide screens, right? So you can arrange like windows like this. So
Oh,
along
nice.
with that, you have this color picker. So you can just pick colors here, and it will save it to your library here like this.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
great.
really handy.
Yeah, no, I normally like take like a weird screenshot and then like open up Photoshop and then use the eyedropper tool in Photoshop, and I'm like, there's a better way than this.
Yeah. I wish there was gradient maps in After Effects.
In After Effects, yeah, I think it'll happen eventually. I'm just guessing that maybe it's like, since it's so many frames, it'd be a lot of math or something.
called coloroma, but it's not that.
Oh, that's cool. I've never thought of putting like colorama on top of a tint.
You can change the colors here, but it's like weird. So
Oh, cool. We have like a little bit less than half an hour left. Do you guys have any questions for Yash? Whether about his process or something that's within After Effects? Anything in the chat for you guys? You're getting lots of compliments in the chat, of course. Bruce is saying that it's looking great so far with the layout and everything, which I definitely agree. It's coming together very nicely and very quickly too at that. I'm going to get us out of the way so people can see a little bit more. And I also feel like we've been listening to this song for a while, so let's switch it on up. Let's go to Rock. I don't know if this is a good song. I don't think I've ever listened to this song before. Yeah, we're designing posters. Yeah. We'll see how long this one lasts. I don't know how long I can listen to this song. But thanks, StreamYard, for the music.
So what I like to do for all my posters is apply a texture on top of everything.
And you normally do that within After Effects? You just put it on top as like an adjustment layer kind of thing?
These are like actually images. So what's happening here is if you don't have anything beneath, right, it's like transparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you bring in any texture and if you press this icon, right, it will be applied to whatever is there on the.
Beautiful.
So you don't need any mask for it. So after that, I'll just change the blending mode to screen, so you can see like you get
Nice.
that.
Yeah, now I forget. It was some YouTube video. I think it might have been Ben Marriott. I feel like I mentioned Ben Marriott all the time. But it was like, I think a YouTube video of his that was like things in After Effects that you've kind of just ignored for no reason. And I decided to actually look at what they do. And I was like, isn't that the truth? There's sometimes where I'm like, I don't know what that icon does. I'm not going to touch it for now. But just learning what everything does is really helpful. But nice. Oh, I love how the screwdriver feels like it's controlling the circles that you have the echo with up at the top right.
Yeah.
I think that turns out nicely. Ooh, that's funky. That's CC lens, so it just kind of gives that idea of that glass that kind of you have in some of your other works.
Yep. I used to use this a lot, like when I just started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what would you say your favorite like effects are for the most part?
I like echo effect a lot.
Yeah, echo's a great one. Also, like what a nerdy like cocktail conversation. Be like, yo, so what are your favorite After Effects effects?
I even like the time displacement. Like we can try it on this.
I'm gonna type some of these in the chat, by the way, so you guys have them if you want to mess with them. Displacement effect, the echo effect. And he also did CC lens. Great. And so when you're normally, I noticed you made a new composition here that you're going to be like using as like a pre-comp. Do you generally kind of just keep it to the same size of the composition and then kind of replace around where you want it to be? Or do you find like you normally make smaller compositions and then kind of bring them in as well?
I actually generally keep it the same like size.
Mm-hmm.
Like rarely I'll make it the like this size, right? So
Right.
if it's like pre-planned, I know what I need to do. Then I'll make like the comp will be like just this size.
Right.
But right now, like we are doing on the fly, right? So
Right. Also, have you saved yet? You hadn't, had you? It's tricky. Just me. I just say that because I have streamed before, and my computer has gone through something, and then I have been very defeated as it kind of falls apart. Also, everyone in the chat, please also save your work. Save, 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 save.
so for the time displacement, right? You just make a gradient layer,
Okay.
and that has to be a pre-comp.
Okay.
And after that you can just hide it, and you'll have to create a adjustment layer. Now I have this text like under a mask, so first I'll just animate these. I have two of them, the same repeating ones.
Wade says, I'm keep waiting for a screen record function in After Effects. I'm imagining physically moving a mask or anything at the rate you want it and then have it auto-translated to a layer. Yeah, no, that would be pretty nuts. But I also have too shaky of a hand and a mouse control to probably, I'd have to fine-tune it.
So another best
Example.
feature of the motion plugin is you can have the easing like done here, and if you have some favorite easing curves, you can just save it here and use it.
Yeah, I feel like I normally just go down and I expand those presets and I just like cycle through which ones I'm like, wondering what they look like.
Yeah, actually, I deleted all of them and I have my own presets.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
So here I just have this simple animation like this, just like a slide animation.
Also, hello to Matt Voice, who is actually going to be up in about what is that? In a half, 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Is that right? 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock or 12 o'clock for you. He's our next guest. We're gonna have a break in between. But welcome to the chat. I'm glad you're here. And exciting to see you. Wade says, I've done something similar using OBS before to record, then using a vid. Oh, that's messy. You're messy there, Wade. Not above it, but that's messy. All right. So did you use offset for when you were kind of having the text loop around from left to right there?
For what? Which part?
So when you moved the type from left to right, do you have two different layers? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you duplicated Thunderground and then created another mask and then had it go. Okay.
So I just created a adjustment layer and you apply the time displacement effect, and here there's a drop down where you choose the gradient which we created.
Okay.
So this is like just white to black gradient.
Mm-hmm.
And after that you'll get this effect, and here you can actually like change the parameter, like how much you displace it.
Right.
So if I press one, the effect is like a little different.
Interesting. And so I guess it's using the black to white as like, I don't even know how it's like how it uses
So
the black
like
to white.
so the colors, right, like white to black, so it's kind of like dealing the time based on the color of the gradient.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult to understand, but
Yeah, no, I'd be interested to see like it when I play with it, if like I can like add like radial stuff and see how that
yeah,
will kind
actually
of adjust it as well.
if you change the gradient to like kind of a vertical, right,
Okay.
you can get a different effect. So
Weird.
Even this is
Oh, so cool. I've seen that done before, and I didn't know. I thought it was like a slit scan thing or something. That's
yeah,
pretty neat.
it works like a slit scanner.
That's very neat. And it has a cool effect. Wade's upset because I called him messy. I'll see you in the programs, Wade. I'll see you in the programs. All right, we got about 15 minutes left. Poster's coming along great. Thunderground, visit today. Oh, and it works well with the animation also of the circle, which is fun.
Now I'm thinking like even like this can be static. I think like we had in Illustrator. Not sure about this.
Kind
Also,
of like
like
it's coming out from the center. Like they're both moving from the center to the edges, it seems like.
yep. Also on pixels, right? You get like these footages, free footages, so can use that as well. Looks cool. I think in the last post, this one, it was actually a footage behind.
Oh, so that was actually like a video rather than like just a still image.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, Wade, sorry. I'm going to say you're not talking about the same thing. It's super clean. All right, I'll take your word for it. Let's listen to this song. It's called Feeding the Ducks. I don't know why it's called Feeding the Ducks, but it's called Feeding the Ducks. If you guys are just joining us, by the way, we have had a great hour and a half of content, so make sure you watch this replay. I am having the pleasure of interviewing and having Yash on screen. You can find all of his stuff at Kickin. He also has his personal pages as well, which are linked to in his pages when you go onto Behance or Instagram or Twitter. And he's constantly updating these amazing, incredible posters, which I'm actually going to go ahead and I'll show him off again real quick as he continues to work on stuff a little bit more. He has 84,000 followers on Instagram, dealing with a celebrity, and beautiful explorations to kind of just really help bend your mind in a way to approach motion. Really wonderful stuff. All checking it out on Instagram _Kickin. And then as he was actually showing earlier in today's broadcast, he also has his personal where he explores with even different explorations, both with like photography and just different aesthetics that necessarily don't have motion to them, but have really cool diffusion. And there's that starburst again that we really like. And so make sure you give him a follow on both. I'm already following him, so I don't have to. But you guys need to follow him. So, and this to the stream instead. And thank you for putting the links in the chat for us, Wade. A big shout out to Wade, who is moderating this broadcast today. Make sure you also check out his stuff. Wade is an incredible illustrator who also live streams on his own and also streams for Adobe Live. So make sure you check out his stuff at behance.net/WadeAcuff. Cool sunglasses.
Didn't notice the anchor pointer.
Oh, but that's the beautiful thing about motion is that like you can still update it and it doesn't completely change how it's like, trying to move it in weird places, where if you were to regularly do it without that tool, it would kind of move it all around.
Yeah.
Jesus says, definitely gained my follow. So if anything today, You got one new follower, so there's that.
Yay.
That was the most apathetic yay I've ever heard. Yay, great. One follower. Add it to the cookie jar. That was amazing.
I think we are done now.
No, it's great.
I would do some tweaks and I don't know.
No, it's looking really good. All feels conditional. So you decided that you didn't like the echo effect in the top right of the circle?
Yeah. I don't know. I might try something else,
No, for sure.
which you can see in tomorrow's post.
Oh, this is going to make it? This is going to be an official post then?
Yeah, but I'll be making some tweaks maybe. So
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fantastic, though. It's really cool because then we'll also be able to kind of see the back end of stuff if anyone's ever interested in it. Obviously, I hope that everyone that's watching today, both live and in the replay, once this is up, hopefully you'll go and show some real support and make sure you hop in and like that post and say, hey, I saw this being made. Because it's got some really cool stuff in it. That said, we are kind of nearing the end of our broadcast. And I want to see if anybody has any other questions for Yash. Yash, if you have any questions for me, if you have anything that you want to touch on before we go. Is there anything you're currently promoting, creating, anything that you're excited about that you want to use the platform to kind of talk about?
I'm not selling actually anything right now, but I have plans to make motion templates in the future. I don't know when.
Yeah.
I actually started on it. Not sure like when I can complete it. I want this to be like perfect. So
Yeah.
just watch out for that.
I mean, that's wonderful. I think that templates are something that like I definitely use a lot, but I've never created my own. And there's something to say obviously about file organization and being able to have something just easily be picked up. I know you said that you have your normal file structure for kind of how you lay out your files. Do you feel like you have a good handle over file structure and organizing the things that you create?
I think pretty much, yeah. But I actually have made like templates for like companies like which they sell it further.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've got the experience of actually having the structure that you have to then like pass things off.
Yeah, having a universal control to a null object and having like color controls there itself. So I have like a bit of experience there.
Oh. Well, we'll have to make sure that we keep an eye on your Twitter, your Behance.
And also, like I have plans to start. I told you, right? I have plans to start YouTube as well, making tutorials. So
yeah, no, I mean that would be wonderful. It'd be great to see you walk through some of your stuff. Do you already have a YouTube account? Is there one set up? You snagged that handle yet?
Not actually.
All right. Well, we will have to go and check it out and get that Kickin Studio or _Kickin at some point. And yeah, YouTube coming up. Got a motion template coming up. I feel like you got a lot in the cards coming out in the coming weeks or months, whatever works best. Once again, also today we talked about a few other artists that were important to Yash. We had Balgasm, we had Anthony Vellin, and we had Chris. I keep almost saying Hensworth, but it's Ashworth. Also, thank you to everyone that has followed while we've been here. I'm Ryan Selvy on Instagram myself, and also I have the wrong template up, covering everything up right now. But make sure you guys also check these guys out. Got really good stuff, and we talked about why they're inspirational and kind of how they can also, even though these are all physical, can still be adapted into the idea of motion posters and creating things that really resonate with Yash and the wider audience. So I think this music isn't too bad.
Yep.
I haven't seen what Bagasm has updated recently. I really like these gradients in a way that like doesn't feel good.
He doesn't post much like recently.
Oh yeah, I guess it was 18 weeks ago. It was a while back, but that's also pretty crazy too.
I mean,
Is
he
it-
deserves the break. He's doing it for 3 years, so yeah.
No, 100%. Obviously that takes a lot out of you and is a big commitment. So I feel like, yeah. Also, that type is crazy. It's really interesting with a lot of these types that I follow. Just kind of that balance between legibility and also just type as texture, where what it says isn't as important as the idea of it kind of just being there, which challenges the idea of what it is to be a poster creator. But I also feel like that's always been the case. I mean, like, look at this. This says type on the side, but the mass majority of what makes up this piece is just color and abstraction. But I think that's really cool. Do you feel like when you ever have a client, do you feel like you struggle with the idea of like having to have like legibility be at the forefront, or do you feel like a lot of times you are able to really use abstraction and just kind of go with what you want?
No, actually, legibility gets like it's a main focus while client work, right? Because they want to communicate something. So there's a bit of constraint there.
Yeah.
You just
In a
have
way
to
that
find a way around it.
you have to have that balance.
Yeah.
But obviously, at the end of the day, you also have the artistic eye to be able to take that and make it beautiful in its own way.
I think
So-
in a way, like motion covers up for it. I think.
Right. So, all right. Well, that kind of puts us at time. Thank you again for coming on the show. It was wonderful having you. Make sure everyone follows Yash across Behance, Instagram, and Twitter. We look forward to seeing your motion templates coming up, and also check out that YouTube sooner than later. So make sure you subscribe as well. But thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. So that is it for Offset Week 2, Episode 1 with me, your host, Ryan Selvy. I will be back in no time. I'm going to be off for about 30 minutes, in which I will drastically eat lunch and dramatically get ready for the next show with Matt, who's going to be here in 30 minutes. And we're going to have another 2-hour show. And it's going to be great. And we're going to look at his work. And we're going to break down stuff. And we're going to do some more monkey paws. We're going to have a good time. But thank you for everyone that tuned in and was here. To Adonis, Annika, Becca, Bruce, Cheryl, Clever, Jack, Jesus, Katerina, Laura, Matt, Oliver, Paloma, Penny, Richard, Sean, Steven, Steve, T. Wardis, and of course, last and definitely, most definitely not least, Wade Cuff, our beautiful, wonderful moderator that helped keep things locked down. You're going to stick around for the Illustrator Challenge in between. So don't go anywhere. We're going to have some fun with that. And that'll be for 30 minutes while I'm frantically shoving food in my face. Once again, I'm Ryan Selvy. Make sure you follow me on the Behance, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as Ryan Selvy. I will see you all in just a little bit. Thank you again to Yash, and I'll see y'all soon. Okay, bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.
Go.